So this video is going to be about that I'm making is about my brother's identical twin that I've been separated from my family, and I don't know who's involved with all the money in the world to spend, but I think it's important because the psychologist and Michaela, and talk a little bit about Michaela as well. But I wanted to say, when I was working at Caesar's Palace about 6 months ago, I don't know if I made several conversations over the crisis line every time I talk to them, a few times a week, just talking to whoever it is. I have no idea who reaches out, who gets this information, who's recording me, and who actually gets access to listen to what I'm saying and then use it against me. But I was working 6 months ago at Caesar's Palace, and it was a really good job. I was making like $20 an hour as a janitor, and I had to leave the job position because the harassment, and they began shooting electronic devices real violently at me, and some of the employees were taking advantage of that. And when I got back to my apartment, the place that I was paying rent, it was not a legitimate place or safe place at all, and the guy was bringing in total strangers. I don't know, it would seem like some sort of drug house or something that was going on. But started to act, one of the people that started acting really crazy and vengeful to me. I had no idea why. And I just had to get up and leave. Because every time things get too dangerous, I have to just get up and leave, live on the streets, or find another place on Facebook as soon as I can. It usually always takes me going to interviews or going to these places to see where I can find on the internet, and I'm always being stopped and watched. But when I was working at Caesar's Palace 6 months ago, there was this beautiful blonde girl. She looked like Chrissy a little bit, like the girl that was in UFC, Ring Girls, but I don't know if it was her. It could have been. It looked someone like her. And this girl was absolutely beautiful. And she was with some guy, looked some pretty good shape. And I don't know what the situation was. It seemed to me like it was kind of set up a little bit, like they were sort of waiting for me to go to the front desk or maybe walk by me. I don't know. Could have been a coincidence. They just happened to be there at the same time. But the guy seemed to want to show, like, was walking with the girl. I don't think necessarily the guy could have been straight, but I think that this guy was bringing this girl just to walk by me, and this girl was like focused on me. I mean, I couldn't express the unbelievable feeling of just seeing this beautiful girl walk by me, and was like seemed to find interest in me in the way that she knew who I was, or someone had, obviously everyone knows who I am because all this attention and chaos. But I really don't trust anyone. I don't know what the circumstances, because all heterosexual people have been taken away from me. All heterosexual women have been deterred, and this is primarily from the gay community and transgender community. And I have received several threats and malicious words because of that incident. And I was just showing up at work, and I was actually at the security desk waiting to get like a badge so they could take me to the front, or I was about to start work. And she just walked by me, and she was really focused on me, and I was quite nervous. I was pretty nervous, but I didn't say anything. I was just looking, and she was kind of prettying herself for me as she was approaching, and just walked by me. And to me and my ideas of this, I don't know what the connection is necessarily with. My opinion, I think that they went after this guy because he was possibly gay, and they ended up attacking or threatening him for bringing that girl. That's what I think happened, because so many people are so vengeful toward me that when you try to help me or you try to bring a heterosexual girl toward me, they immediately threaten me and act crazy, and they start bringing up that very topic. And you got to understand, I'm just showing up to an environment, and some people are just showing up. I don't know what to expect. I'm just there trying to survive, get a job, go to work, and I'm always sort of very jittery scared to who it is that's approaching me, because I don't know what violent thing or malicious attack they want to do to me, because so many people hate me There's such hateful actions that people want to do. But I wanted to say that because I think it's important for me to say this, that when I left that very same day, I was working night shift from like 6 or 7 p.m. to like 6 in the morning, and it was like 12-hour shifts, and I was walking and leaving early in the morning. It was like 6 or 7 o'clock, and I was walking out of Caesar's Palace. I cross, you get out, and it takes a while to get to the like sidewalk because there's all these, statues and whatnot. And I get to the sidewalk, and I'm waiting at the stoplight across the street, and I think it's like right next to the LinQ, LINQ casino or something, but it's right, literally, I was coming out of Caesar's Palace right in front, and where all the lights are, and near the waterfall and whatnot. But I'm at the stoplight, and I look, and I see Julian's identical twin. I promise, it looked identical to Julian. I mean, this guy had to have been. And when I looked at this guy, he was a security guard. This guy was a security guard. He was wearing a security guard outfit. I don't know if he had a gun, or like, because some security guards don't carry weapons. They have like mace and or whatever. But he was some kind of security guard. And he looks over at me, and he looks directly at me, like to try to acknowledge that he knows who I am. And I look right over at him, and I'm telling you, it's my brother Julian's identical twin. It is him. 100. I want to say 100%. I mean, there was tons of people walking all over the place. There was one other security guard next to him, and he looks over at me. He's like almost waiting for, just like looking at me, and he goes and just looks at me, and he goes like he wanted to say, like, Hector, come on, like he's saying like it was weird, like the same way that maybe Julian would recognize me as his blood brother, the same way that this other brother I've never met officially. And he looks over at me, and then I get nervous, and I look at him, and I look at him real, like, dead on to the eyes, like don't do that. Like, he looks over at me, and he goes like this, and he goes like, oh, you didn't get that girl, or something like that. Look what he's trying to express. Like, he was like, come on, get you a girlfriend or something. And I didn't say anything, and I looked at him because I didn't want him to, kind of give that expression. And I looked at him like, be careful, like trying to like be careful what these people are going to do. And I don't even know. And I'm walking across the street, and I'm looking at him, and he's just kind of looking. He's just looking at me like this, and he goes, Hector, like not upset or mad. And I'm walking across the street, and I'm so nervous to even want to approach him and say, "Are you my brother? Are you Julian's twin brother?" And I'm so scared and nervous, and I probably can't be him. And I begin to do a lot of the things that I always do. It's probably not him. It's probably not him. It can't be. He would have approached me. There's so much chaos. And he looks right over at me, and he was a security guard. So I just turned left, and I left, and I kept on walking. And I was thinking to myself, but I don't know if somebody was shooting an electronic device. I don't know how intense these electronic devices in detail they are, how they allow me to approach people, or they deter me, or it's very technical what these electronic devices are doing. But I remember being very scared that I could get in trouble to talk to him, or I better not, because they're going to retaliate against me. But one of the main reasons I also knew that it was him is like the next day or 2 days later, I'm on a bus, and then some guy tries to signal to me, goes and goes like that, and there's always people that are threatening me and being sent toward me to anything that goes on in my environment to tell me who I can talk to, and that they're in control of him and my family. So this guy, that was some white blonde guy, some gay guy on a bus, like in his mid-50s, looks like King Cooper representative, did that, and I just looked over at him, And he was just like, like, you don't get to talk to him. He's not your brother. So I wanted to make that video. I left that day, and I don't know if it had something to do with an association that he brought or told somebody to, hey, go send my brother that girl, or see if he'll talk to her. Because Julian, many years ago, when I was 28 years old, living in this apartment before I moved out, and I had gotten a job at the federal government building in EPA in downtown Dallas, best job ever. And I was living in this apartment, and I remember him. He would sort of like send girls, like, hey, not send them, but he would tell me, like, hey, there's a hot girl right there. You might want to go talk to her. And he told me something before, like at a liquor store, there was like some beautiful girl, and I didn't say anything at the time, because at the time some guy, when I showed up there, started to threaten me, said he had a gun and he was going to shoot me or something. I got really nervous and scared because she saw the beautiful Barbie-looking girl at the liquor club do this to me, and I think I told Julian about it when I was there. I don't know if I told him that, but because the cashier, some guy didn't like it, so he threatened me, saying he had a gun or something. He said it in a subliminal way, and there was nobody else there, that he was like threatening my life, and he was trying to scare her away from me, and she was the one that was engaging with me. But yeah, so I wanted to say that because I remember Julian, he used to work at the strip club, and I remember he had this beautiful girl come talk to me at the strip club before once, and say, it's my brother right there. But, you know, I went there to the strip club once or twice in my whole life, and it was just to visit him at his work because he was having problems at his job. And but I wanted to say, and he worked there for about a year, but I wanted to say that that was my brother's, Julian's identical twin. I don't know who's involved. I don't know. I'm starting to kind of think to myself, like, is it possible that you know, he's a security guard now in real life? Like, is my brother Julian's identical twin, is he a security guard? Like, I think he may be a security guard. I'm not too sure if he is. I think he is. I think he is a security guard doing that for a living, because obviously my brother, who I grew up with, was, you know, twins tend to do the same type of work, and you know, he was a bouncer at a strip club, so that role of sort of, you know, of work kind of flows. It's just like if I had an identical twin brother, I'm sure he probably would have been enjoying music or DJing somewhere around the world, or something. A lot of the times it's a weird phenomenon, but so I wanted to make a video, and I don't know who's involved. I don't know. What I'm kind of thinking is, like, I wonder if, like, 50 Cent, because I think the guy next to him was like a black guy, like a half white, half black guy, kind of light complected black guy, or like a black guy, or no, I think he was a Mexican, either that or a Mexican guy. And you know, I wanted to say this because out of this entire crowd, when I was literally walking, he looked right at me and acknowledged himself, but didn't approach me or anything. And he was just like, so I wanted to say something because I don't know how my mom's identical twins are behaving toward this and who's informing my mother what to say, but obviously kids have their own opinion toward life, because I had conversations about my mom when I spoke to Julian, and when I spoke to Frankie growing up, and even when I lived in this apartment, he had his own opinion. He loves we all love our mother, but everyone has, you know, creates their own space between their moms and dads. But, you know, I think it's important because there are very detailed information to be using my mother as a weapon, that if my brother is trying to reach out to me, then they're going to use that as a weapon to maliciously get at me in any kind of way. And I think I wanted to make that video important for anyone that wants to know. But it was at Caesar's Palace. I didn't expect anything, and it was when that beautiful girl, she looked like she was going to some sort of like glamour not photo shoot, but some, you know, some dance hall or something like that. But I thought I'd make that video.